Let's talk a little bit about capital gains tax. The Harris campaign rolling out yesterday a proposal for a 28% capital gains tax rate on people earning $1 million or more. This differs from the Biden administration's previous proposal to have the top capital gains rate basically be at the top marginal tax rate of 39.6% if the Trump tax cuts were to expire. And so it's a difference that is being talked about as far as tax policy and its potential impact on capital markets.
Yeah. So let's jump through this because I was asked about this by Vinnie Penn this morning, one of the affiliates down in New Haven, Connecticut, who had seen a TikTok video about this, and it's only going to impact people that are have hundreds of millions of dollars, and that's not quite the case. But I've also heard things that every American's going to be paying a 28% capital gains tax rate. That's also not the case. So today, the way that capital gains taxes work is they are always taxed at a rate that is lower than your ordinary income tax rate.
Correct.
That
right now,
universally the case.
The way it works right now, if you are single making under $47,000 or married filing jointly making under $94,000, you pay 0% on capital gains tax right now.
Okay.
If you're between 47 and 518, these are thousands for single, or 94 and 583 married, you pay 15%. If you are making more than 518 as a single filer or more than 583 as married filing jointly, you pay 20% on capital gains. These are all federal numbers. Obviously, your states can differ depending on where you're listening to us out of.
In addition, after Obamacare was passed, there was another 3.8% net investment income tax put on top of capital gains. And so in that case, I think it's over $250,000 in total income. Yep. Then you're getting up to another 3.8. So hypothetically, if you're in that 15% bracket, you could be at 18.8. If you're at that 20%, you could be at 23.8. And under the Harris proposal, if you had over $1 million in total income and or capital gains, you'd be looking at something like 31.8% federal taxation on capital gains in this type of scenario. To your point, then you've got state tax. And I just like explaining this stuff because it doesn't ring true to people when we say, well, 15% capital gains. Yeah, if you live in Massachusetts, you've automatically got another 5% on top of that.
Correct.
If you live in Massachusetts and you earn more than $1 million, you've automatically got another 9% on top of that. And
if you live in Florida, you don't have any of that,
Exactly. So it does run the gambit. I think what's being talked about here and what's being proposed, is it completely out of this world? No, this is a tax proposal that's been proposed by many other candidates running for president. I think it's about as likely as any other tax increase to actually go into place. And this has actually been a long-standing debate as, hey, should we be taxing capital gains at a lower rate than ordinary income? There are plenty of arguments on either side of it.
My answer is yes and no.
I know. Your first $1 million tax-free, right?
The idea that I have, and this is how I would approach it, unify the rates because, look, long-term, why do you want to tax money that is made buying and selling stuff at a lower rate than working?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense. Treat capital and labor the same. But you do want an incentive to start a business, to buy a home, to do these things that generate a lot of economic activity. And so the way I would approach it is, look, unify the rates. You could bring income tax rates down a touch. You could bump capital gains rates up a little bit and unify them. Where that number ends up being, I don't know. But the first $1 million that you get in capital gains in your lifetime, you don't pay tax on because I want more millionaires. I want people having money. And so I want to make it something where, yes, you get a significant break on that first $1 million in capital gains that you earn in your lifetime. Once you get past that, what are we really doing here? Does Jeff Bezos need preferential capital gains tax treatment at this point? No, why should he pay a rate half as much as if he's earning that through work?
I guess my only qualification there will be so long as we don't reach a rate that is burdensome in comparison to other developed countries. And 28% isn't there, but 40 is. And so I would bring that up. Like, okay, if you want Jeff Bezos to create his next company in the United States, don't put the capital gains tax rate at a rate that's higher than it is in the United Kingdom.
I don't know. What if we make it more advantageous to earn the income through being paid as a worker?
Sure.
Like, wouldn't okay, great. So the company actually has to produce income to be able to pay him out. Like, I don't know. Like, these are things that I think of. I don't want to make it burdensome, but I look at it, and the justification for always having the capital gains tax lower than earned income doesn't mesh with me. Do I think there's a reason that you want to tax it lower, at certain points? Absolutely. Because you want to encourage business formation and capital formation and all these things that we know are good for the economy. But at the same time, do you want to bestow that tax treatment permanently just because someone's good at trading stocks or made $1 billion, running a company? Well, no. Like, at a certain point, you say, why am I treating this person way better than someone who's working 9 to 5 every day?